Yeah.
That's real,
And,
right? It's not
I
for
wore my lion shirt for you.
thanks.
The
Yes,
Lyran
go
shirts are good.
Irons.
All right. Yeah. I love your background too. It's very beautiful.
Thank you. I thought I switch it every now and then.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. All right. So what's the latest? There's so much going on in the world. I mean, we could jump into every area. I watch a lot of your shows. You're on with everybody these days, of course. Everyone loves you. It's been really great reception for you. I'm glad because you're the real deal. People are still discovering you. But what's the latest? What are you looking at these days?
Well, things are progressing as far as like the victory of the light, the liberation of humanity on the earth. It seems like externally things are getting worse, of course, fake news and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But from behind the scenes, oh my God, things are actually in favor of humanity's liberation. The forces of light have already crippled the cabal to the point where they are running, like chickens with no heads. They're so scared. At this point, they don't even, there's nothing they can do. There's nothing they can do. All their technology was stripped from them, And so everything that's going on right now on a geopolitical level, it's actually being orchestrated by the forces of light, the Alliance and the White Hats. They're making the scenario in a sense where Trump is going to be coming out victorious because he's going to negotiate a peace treaty with Russia, and that is going to win a lot of favor for him when he does win a Nobel Peace Prize for negotiating his peace treaty, of course. So a lot of things are unfolding. We have nothing to worry about. Even as far as the Earth changes are concerned, Michael, we have some sort of like electromagnetic technology that the galactics are using to make sure that the poles, when the solar flash takes place, to make sure that there is not a pole shift.
Nice.
So it's going to be a smooth transition to the new age.
Wow, that's fantastic. So you've talked in the past how the quarantine was lifted, that was put in place during Atlantis, and the Galactic Federation is basically, dealing with us, working with us, and how do you see that going right now?
Well, the quarantine is lifted. The Earth's quarantine is no longer the case. I believe it was lifted as of November of 2021, right when we signed the new accord, as we were ending the Luciferian Accord that was only in place for about 5,000 years since the times of Babel. As you know, we could trace the origin of all evil back to Babylon, technically back to Draco, but in our world, back to Babylon. And so ever since the new covenant rolled out as of last November, the Earth has been initiated within the private sector, the Space Force and the Earth Alliance, into the galactic community. So it's just a matter of time before that is disclosed to the general public. So as I speak right now, as you know, we have members of the Earth that are actually working with the galactics. They're working in these off-world stations, and things are progressing. The Earth is now a part of the United Federation of Planets, which is led by the Jupiter Command, and she was just given, I guess, she was barely initiated into that a few months ago, and that is a huge indicator that things are progressing. And all this fear porn about the Greys and the Draco infiltrating the Galactic Federation, they didn't succeed. The truth is that Enki did return about 2 years ago, and he's actually the culprit behind the medicine program, because he even reveals that he came back to change our genetics. So he's been working with the big gates, with Dr. Doom and big tech to, administrate the stuff that's supposed to change us into cyborgs. But again, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Excellent. I'm looking at your new YouTube channel, is Ismael Perez Official, and you have up some really good interviews that you had with other people. Avoiding negative people. What are your thoughts on that as we move forward?
Always stay protected. Every morning, wake up, surround yourself in a sphere of protection. Call upon your guides, your ancestors, your angels. Do that every evening before you go to sleep, and you should be fine. Because right now, because they know that they are in their last hour, their last second. They're trying so hard to attack us spiritually and psychically. because really we're fighting the machine, we're fighting the AI, and that explains the submarines that were destroyed. They have no clue as to who destroyed the Russian submarine. They used a type of technology where it was engulfed with nanites and then it just kind of disappeared. So the AI collective known as the Animus, that's who we should really worry about, not the deep state. The cabal is history. The new enemy, and the enemy that we should all be worried about is the AI, the alien sentient AI. Not the AI that we're building, but the alien sentient AI.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I distinguish between the positive and the negative too. So what are your thoughts on the positive AI and how that's going to help us going forward?
Well, the positive AI is being used by the Alliance. Obviously, it's connected to the quantum financial system and the new satellite system that's already in place. But I've been informed that the positive AI is, it's under control. It's kind of like how you raise a child. If you raise a child in a positive environment with love and teach it how to love others and how to kind of get along and how to cooperate, then that child will become a service to others, a very humble person. So it works the same with artificial intelligence. It's all about the way you program it and how it mimics, because it learns through us. It mimics us. So the negative AI is obviously was programmed to become nefarious, right? And then of course the positive AI is programmed to do good things. So the positive AI is actually helping us. I think it goes by the code name Taylor. I think that's what they called it, and that's what caused WikiLeaks to come out in 2016. Taylor was in place by the White Hats, and they were able to get all this data dumps. And then all of a sudden, 2016 rolled out, and huge mass awakening. All this disclosure was taking place with what was really going on in governments and stuff. Thanks to Taylor, of course, which is the AI system that the White Hats use. Well, that's its code name, of course. It's not really. You can't really label it or call it a name. It's just an AI system that is benevolent.
Excellent. So yeah, there's definitely different timelines that have been stopped out. Negative timelines have been stopped out. We're on a positive timeline right now. Of course, the negative ones are constantly trying to implement a negative timeline. But I agree with you. The Galactics are stopping it all out. No nuclear events. I don't see anything like that in the future.
Oh, not at all.
Yeah, they're going to try and push that. They're going to try and scare people with that. But I would say, stay calm. That's absolutely not going to be allowed to happen. So this new Earth, we talked about this before. People having all these different types of abilities as we move into higher dimensions. We get the solar flash, and then we move into the higher realms of consciousness. Not everybody comes along for that ride. What do you see now as far as percentages? Is the percentages of people coming along increasing, staying the same? What do you see with that?
It's definitely increasing. Believe it or not, Michael, a lot of people are waking up. We just don't see it, but it's like a domino effect. People are planting seeds. People are speaking their truth, and that is kind of echoing throughout humanity. So it's getting to the point where maybe the solar flash has been held off because they want to make sure that as many people as possible go into the positive timeline, which is intelligently speaking by the higher intelligence who are orchestrating everything from behind the scenes. It's a smart move, right? They want to get to the point where no soul is left behind, but unfortunately, a very small number of humanity who are gearing towards the transhumanist timeline aren't going to be making the positive timeline. So things are moving along. People are waking up. Things are going to be unfolding in favor of humanity pretty soon. A lot of people believe that this is Red October, that even the EBS and the rollout of the new system could be sometime this month. And so, anything could happen. It's always best to be prepared because after all, the White Hats and the Alliance are in full control. The deep state is not a threat anymore.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think that, this is going to be definitely a Red October reveal month. Things are going to get a little bit hot, but I think they're going to keep it calmed down. So yeah, I see a lot of people. It's kind of like when 2016 for Trump, they kept that low key. I think a lot of people that we have seen in the past that have been maybe liberal mindset, they're not really following along with the wake up process. I think they really are. I think they're just kind of playing low key and don't because a lot of people get attacked when they come out and reveal that they're, they actually maybe like the way things are going. So that's one of the things I see right now.
Indeed. And then also, this whole nuke scare thing, just keep in mind that the Galactics, the reason they came over into our neck of the woods in the numbers back in the 50s was because we detonated the atom bomb. And that caused a huge alert across the galaxy and many other galaxies, to the point where certain members of the Venetian Council of the Ashtar Command had to, meet in secret with Eisenhower and other world leaders to just let them know that, hey, this is not going to happen because, when you guys detonate these bombs here, it actually has repercussions throughout the universe, because it's all connected, through energy, the fabric of space and time. So it is you could say it is a galactic law, that our Earth leaders aren't able, and they will not be allowed to release any nuclear weapons. And Mr. P from Russia, he knows that. He's very well aligned with the alliance. And so
Good.
All this stuff that, he's declaring war, that's all part of the fake news. He's not, because that's the last thing he wants. He works, he's a humanitarian. Of course, the media paints him as the bad guy, but he's really fighting the New World Order, So he's doing what he can, and he's working from behind the scenes with, Mr. T and the rest of them. So I just want people to know that, the Galactics are here, and they will execute an intervention in the event that, somewhere along the line, whether it is through the negative AI or through a cabal stooge where they do press the red button, they're here to neutralize all nuclear weapons simultaneously worldwide so that there isn't any nuclear threats. And that's a fact.
Oh, absolutely. And that's been documented, where they've come in and shut down the nukes that were back in the day in the silos. So, we've had a lot of military types that have come out and did a press conference on that many, many years ago. So, so you see something happening in November or October. What are your thoughts? I see something dramatic toward maybe the end of October. There's going to be a buildup. I think there's going to be a lot of crazy stuff going on. A lot of reveals coming up. Maybe be arrested. So there's a lot of people talking back and forth about, arrest. Whether that happens or not, I don't think anyone needs to get really concerned about it. I think a lot of the real arrests have already happened.
Absolutely. So if anything to expect is EBS and the official takedown, where even the media and the airwaves are taking over through Project Odin, of course, and the new satellite systems. If anything, just prepare for the EBS and have at least 10 days or 2 weeks of food supplies, water and things that you might need, because they are going to shut the grid. The grid's going to go down. As you know, we're not going to be able to use our devices anymore, but they're going to immediately replace it with a new internet, not the, DARPA version, which is spying on us, but a new internet that is not connected to the evil AI, of course. So that's what they mean about having like 3 days of darkness. So I think that's just going to be 3 days where, no one's going to have anything. All of a sudden, after the third day, there's going to be a new internet. And then that's when people are going to be able to communicate through Signal, of course, and other apps.
Yeah, that sounds exciting. It makes a lot of sense too. And people have been talking about that also for years. So that'll be interesting when that actually comes down. Everyone's looking forward to that. Everybody's ready for this. I don't think most people were really antsy for a long time, but I think a lot of people have settled. They're more observant and not getting too worked up about this stuff. How are you seeing that?
I agree with you. I think that people who are awake and who know what's going on, they really, it doesn't affect them. The people that are getting affected are those that aren't really in the know. That those that are still kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out, not knowing what to believe. And as a reminder, our collective thoughts create reality. So it's just best to understand that we are all co-creating our future with our thoughts. So it's best to not feed into the negative, into the fear porn.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So setting your intention, how do you relay that for people to set their intention?
Oh, let me make you brighter here. There we go. I had to turn on the bright. Set the intention. You do it every morning upon waking up. One of the things that I like to do is I wake up with gratitude in my heart, and I surround myself in a blue sphere of protection, and then I invoke my guides and I set my intention for the day. Because when you don't set your intention, you could just anything could happen. But when you set your intention, you're actually you're commanding the universe to bring you that. You're to manifest whatever it is that you're intending, because we are co-creators. We are spiritual, powerful beings, and if we understood that each and every single one of us is God, every single one of us, once we are self-realized, we are God, and that is the biggest threat to the enemy. One of the things that the enemy has been using for thousands of years is they've been trying to separate us from the concept of God by putting it outside of ourselves, by externalizing it. Once enough people come to that realization that we are all expressions of the one, and that every single one of us participated in the creation of the universe at the highest level of reality, then all that power comes back to us.
Mm-hmm. Outstanding. Now, you've shared with us, the star beings, from different star groups. You talk about the Syrians and the Pleiadians being of the light. Basically, we're part of that system here on Earth. So what other star races do you see helping out? And because the Galactic Federation has opened us up, do you see more races getting involved now?
Yes, not only races that are coming from our own galaxy, but races that are coming from many billions of galaxies. As I speak, there is some sort of a cosmic treaty that is being orchestrated here in our solar system on Gemini, the moon of Jupiter, and what this treaty is about, it's about making the Earth the hub of the multiverse. It's about making the Earth the intergalactic exchange center of all information, as it was intended to be before it was hijacked. So it's part of the restoration of Earth back into the galactic community. And so what they're creating is a intergalactic council, where the star seeds of the Earth are actually going to be at the head of that. So that means we're going to be commanding all the different Federation fleets, not only within our galaxy, but in other galaxies. So the help is enormous, Michael. Our entire atmosphere right now is like a parking lot for these huge motherships, and that are benevolent, of course, and are just here, holding the line, making sure that we reach that ascension. That's it. They're helping us, so we have nothing to worry about. But not only are galactics and intergalactics assisting us, we're also receiving help from the inner Earth societies, from the members of Agartha, of the different subterranean worlds that exist within the inner Earth. As you know, the Earth is hollowed, and there are many societies that exist within our planet, and they are also sending representatives to work with the surface world in assisting the Alliance and the White Hats. So the White Hats are receiving help from all directions. And then on top of that, Michael, we're also receiving help from parallel Earths or parallel realities that are depending on us to ascend, because what happens here actually affects all the different parallel Earths that are coexisting with us right now at the same time. So they're actually coming in from their parallel or their version of their Earth into this version in order to make sure that everything goes smooth in this version, because we are the mainframe. What happens here is going to have repercussions on parallel Earth realities as well.
Beautiful. And congratulations on our cosmic origin. I know you're number one and sometimes number two. I think right now you're number two, but you've been number one. So that's a very high level. Good job. So that's reaching a lot of people. What has been the feedback that you've gotten from your excellent book?
People are thanking me for all that information. They're saying that I filled in a lot of gaps for them. Mm-hmm. Some people are saying that I'm triggering memories of the Galactic Wars, that I'm activating them. So I'm getting massive amount of responses that people are just loving the information in that book. It's changing lives worldwide, and to me that is like the best feeling ever, because I feel like I'm actually fulfilling my purpose as Cosmic Ambassador, to remind the rest of the star seeds, of their power, our mission, and our purpose. So I am so excited. I'm excited that it's really resonating with hundreds of thousands of people out there. And to me, that is like the biggest gift that, anyone could offer, in service to humanity, of course. Because I even admit, I'm just an instrument, all credit goes to God, of course. But, sometimes we have to remind ourselves that we are just instruments of the work, of the divine work that is being orchestrated through people like me and you and other truthers that are, helping to wake up the masses and helping and preparing people for the ascension, for the new Earth. And so I always give thanks to the one, the one. Without the one, we wouldn't be here at this time,
Oh, that's beautiful. Very good. And I know I'm looking at the chapters, and I always like that one, the rise of Homo Nauticus, the angels among us. So I think that's fantastic. And then the one right after that, the return of the host of heaven and the establishment of the office of the Christ. Kind of like what you were just talking about. No, I think you're like me. You've studied a lot of different religions. You see a lot of beauty in all of the religions, but as we move forward, we're basically moving into a higher level of consciousness where there's not a religious dogma that we've seen pretty much hinder the consciousness of humanity. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that we're shifting from religion to spirituality, and I think that's part of the Great Awakening is that people are no longer adhering to the old religious programming. People are stepping out of that, and people are actually rediscovering their own power and their connection to source. Because, see, the real Christians, rather the real, I don't want to call them the real Christians, but the real spiritual people were the Gnostics. And unfortunately, the Gnostics were martyrs. They were murdered 2,000 years ago. They were the real followers of Jesus. They were the real followers of Buddha. And it's funny because the people that had that direct connection to source were the ones that were killed throughout history, right? And now it's coming back. Now, millions of us are having that connection to source where we don't need a mediator. We don't need something to stand between us and the divine. We recognize that we are an expression, that we are at the highest level of reality. Each and every single one of us has a higher self, which is the God version, that we all have. And people are realizing that on a day-to-day basis. So as long as we keep that momentum, Michael, I think that, it's all in preparations for this age of Aquarius, where, once we reach the age of Aquarius, everybody that made the shift is going to have a direct connection to source. We're all going to be like the Gnostics again,
Yeah, that was a beautiful time reading about that. I read a lot about that and had people talk about that. It's really amazing. So fear. So I talk a lot about fear and how fear is a huge negative. Avoiding fear, leaving fear behind, and going towards love. What are your thoughts on that?
100%, my friend. And that is part of the law of one, because everything's a vibration. Fear is perhaps the lowest vibration within the spectrum of light energy, and love is the highest vibration, and every other emotion is in between. So I think that as people continue to, act out of the place of their heart, as long as people continue to become compassionate, loving, towards others, including their enemies, Michael. Yeah. That's how we defeat our enemies. We don't defeat our enemies by shooting weapons right back at them. We defeat our enemies by loving them, because in the end, even our enemies were once a part of God, except the AA, of course, that has no soul. But even the fallen angels, the reptilians, they still have souls. So, one of the things that I teach about in my book is that, it comes to the point where we have to bring that balance, that collapse, that duality, that polarity back into neutrality. Because once we do that, we actually collapse it without. Once we do it internally, where we collapse the duality, where light and dark are now neutralized, then in turn, that reflects in our outer world. So the more of us do that, the more of us approach things with an open heart and love and compassion, the faster we're going to reach a utopia, the faster we're going to reach a new heaven on earth. And that's important. Love is the key, and Christ taught that. Every great spiritual teacher taught that. And that's why when I get haters, or when people are out there putting bad things about me, he's a plant, he's cabal, he's AI, I don't even respond to any of that. To me, it's just let the hate, it's a reflection of their own unhealed wounds. That's their issue. Once you reach a level of enlightenment, even the negativity doesn't affect you anymore. And that's why I don't respond to none of that. So to me, it's just a matter of just knowing who you are and knowing that you are actually helping people. And to me, that is a blessing, to be of service. That's
an awesome message. So it's a really tough one for people to get. When I was in combat zones, that's pretty much what I eventually got to. I was always just sending love. So I was never really affected. It was pretty amazing. Everyone around me were greatly being affected, unfortunately. But keeping that mentality, I just started to expand that, and kept whole towns and stuff like that safe, and still use that to today in every aspect of my life. So yeah, that consciousness is very, very crucial. I know you talk a lot about that. You talk about telekinesis. I have telekinesis that comes through, messages from others. Tell us a little bit about the telekinesis you get from other worlds.
You mean telepathy? Telepathy, right?
Telepathy, right? Yeah.
I also get these two words confused. They're so similar to each other. So
telepathy stuff, yeah. No, telepathy. Thank you.
You're welcome. So we all have these gifts and beyond. Every single human on this planet has telekinesis, telepathy, and more. We have the power to fly if we wanted to. It's all about our consciousness. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's just when I'm in that state of mind, whether it is through meditation or, when I'm able to just kind of clear my head, that's when I receive these messages. They're called transmissions. So I'm able to connect with different aspects of myself that exist, for example, on a mothership. So I have a version of myself that is operating with a different avatar that is still on a mothership doing galactic things. And then I have a version of myself that operates beyond our galaxy at a level of a universe, right? Where it's overseeing different galaxies, doing, deep stuff, guardian stuff. And so we all have these other aspects of ourselves. And so when we receive transmissions, believe it or not, Michael, we're actually receiving them from different aspects or higher versions of ourselves that exist in higher dimensions. And that's why I always talk about the concept of multi-dimensional integration. It's collapsing and anchoring all different versions of yourself from all these different realities into one. Because basically our consciousness right now is scattered. We operate different avatars. A small portion of your consciousness is here animating your body, right? Making you who you are. But the other 99% of your consciousness, Michael, is operating different avatars on different levels of reality. And so to me, the ascension is an event that is going to integrate all the different dimensional realities and collapsing them into a singularity. And then that's how we're going to access our powers, because we're going to have the ability to access all our consciousness, whereas right now it's all fragmented on different, operating different avatars. And so, it's as simple as that. We all have these abilities. We just have to just remember and also realize them and activate them.
Yeah, very good. So what other things do you see that we'll have when because I know a lot of people get excited about this and they want to know what it's going to be, what is it going to be like? A lot of it I know is part of our creative reality, how we create that moving forward. But there will be a lot of skills that start to come through. Kind of give us a little idea what that looks like.
Well, that's already happening. A lot of people are reporting that their psychic abilities, their intuition is enhancing. So that's a start. And our DNA is mutating. So it's happening in increments. But when that final release of the sun takes place, that final signal that is totally going to transform our DNA into a different type of structure, crystalline-based DNA, you better know, Michael, that some of us are going to be flying, teleporting, and these are powers beyond being telepathic or telekinetic. Some of us are going to be able to control the elements, literally like the movie X-Men. And that's why I talk about it in chapter 16 when I describe the rise of Homo Galactus. See, the real prophecies, when they talked about the return of the gods and goddesses, they never said that they were coming from the sky. They said that they would emerge from the already existing human race. And that's what the original prophecy said. Of course, later they were edited by the religious organizations and made us believe that this time they're coming from the heavens, but that wasn't the case. And so you have God's version of Human 3.0, right? The rise of Homo Galactus. But then you also have Lucifer's version of 3.0. That's the rise of Homo robotic or Homo cyborg, Homo Borg. There's different ways of describing those that into the transhumanist agenda. Yeah. And that's already in progress. Of course, there is going to be a timeline split. Not everybody's going into the transhumanist agenda. But unfortunately, a few people are. And those are the people that are like the rich billionaires who are being sold on the fact that they're going to be immortal through technology, by integrating with technology. And they're already doing it. And then so according to the Luciferian agenda, they want to implement this type of where they take away our devices and they put the technology within our bodies by no later than 2030. So, like I said, before that happens, there will be a timeline split. The ascension will have taken place, and those that are part of the positive ascending timeline will not have to, be subjugated to that wetware, where they put the tech in your body, and so.
Yeah, I agree with that. The Homo Borg is basically already among us. They're already like having laws made up for Homo Borg and all kind of crazy stuff. So That's crazy. It's pretty tragic. Now, a lot of people, have undertaken different, methods to protect themselves. The shot type thing we're talking about. So I see a lot of that. There's technology that seems to be coming in right now to help people overcome that. I have some people that are sharing with me that it's actually coming into hospitals. They're getting ready to distribute it and stuff like that. So what do you see about that going forward?
Well, that's part of the transhumanist agenda. Mm-hmm. So it's not going to happen in our reality. See, right? The way I see it is there's going to be a bifurcation of realities. People that are on the ascending positive timeline who are not getting the medicine, who are doing it organically and naturally, won't have to experience that. But people that are not, unfortunately, there's going to be a negative AI timeline, and both of these timelines are going to last for 1,000 years, by the way, and that explains the last clash at the end of the 1,000 years. And just to let you guys know, the people that are that join or become part of the negative timeline, the AI timeline, they're going to have an opportunity to retrieve their souls at the end of the 1,000 years. Yeah, because right now they're all going to be hooked up to a cloud, like some sort of an AI cloud, and it's sacrilegious. It's blasphemous. What they're doing in the hospitals, what they're trying to do when they take away our tech and they try to put it inside of us, that's all blasphemy. And it's just, we don't consent, right? Like, at least people that are in the awakened community, we're in the minority. We're not going to consent.
Absolutely. And I feel very comfortable with that. I see that 1,000 years worth of golden age coming. So, but there's some people that are concerned maybe that bifurcation in the timeline, they might come in and try and affect us during that 1,000 year. But I see it as being completely separate. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, they're going to be completely separate. If anything, I think that members of the positive ascending timeline are going to be able to pop into the negative timeline at will, but the AI is not going to have access to our timeline. Our timeline is going to be existing in a whole new different realm. And it's going to be, the gates for that are going to be completely sealed from any AI.
Yeah, I see that in the early stage of that bifurcation, that some of us will be able to actually go over and still help some people come back over to the positive. Right. Yeah.
Chẳng được quên khi cơn mưa đêm lại về. Em đã quên lời thề và ta như đông chìm sâu. Không còn mới em anh nhận màu. Em chỉ cần mơ đâu em bay. Chỉ còn là những cơn mưa vô giá. Cho bên mưa em không mơ anh. Anh một đêm mơ chỉ cần bên em không được cần nhớ. Và chỉ có em không muốn nhớ. Và người ta bên nhau như ngã thơ. Muốn nhớ người say em chỉ có mấy em ở đây. Và anh như muốn chết đi nhưng không muốn em mơ mày. Tình yêu làm cho ta đau đầu. Không em như nằm hâm mộ. Anh như đeo mong cầu. Và mưa bên em ngủ sầu. Chắc có mắt mai mà mơ. Chỉ có bên em nhưng đừng có mơ. Mà đã ra em muốn bên ai. Anh không mong gì hơn. Chỉ mong em sẽ ở đây ôm anh thật gần. Anh chỉ mong đôi ta được có nhau. Mà đừng em đâu anh có em. Một đêm bên nhau đừng có em. Ta sẽ trao nhau môi hôn thật sâu. Ôm anh
my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars, crashing in my car, wake up in a bar. I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This world is so bizarre, empty out the reservoir. Yeah,
I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots, all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me?
I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots, all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? Sometimes you need to let loose, grab juice, get goose, tattoos, taboos, get screwed. Loosen up, buttercup, all those hate comments will never make you feel enough. We're all adequate graduates, heart full of calluses, but we know calculus. Damn, ain't that fabulous? Can't wait to apply all those mathematicus. But we can't.